Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and welcome in particular to another look at the games that are coming to the eShop over the next week. Now Mark has done this particular video series for us over the last few weeks and he says to me, all he does is he looks at the 20 or so games that are coming out, he picks the 10 that he likes the most and then he talks about them. That's fine, but I've looked at the games that are coming out and to be honest, about half of them look a little bit ropey. It's like when you're a kid at the school fete and your mate has a go on the lucky dip. He pulls out an Airfix model aeroplane. Awesome, you think. I'll have some of that. So you pay your £1 and then you pull out a pot of bubbles or some hair clips. It's quite annoying really. Anyway, let's have a look at these games, shall we? To start us off then this week, we have the Lyre Princess and the Blind Prince. Now I'm not going to say too much about this particular one because we've just recently reviewed it with Jace doing a cracking job for us. It looks absolutely beautiful, it's a pretty damn solid game, albeit a little bit easy. If you want any more information then check out our review. Next up then we have The King's Bird. Now this describes itself as a physics-based platformer and when you do watch the trailer, which you should be seeing now, it certainly has a nice flow about it. It has quite an interesting art style, going for the silhouetted theme, but also has quite a high price point. This might be one to keep half an eye on. Next we have Iron Cryptical. Now I must say this one looks right up my street. This is a retro styled game in terms of its aesthetic. Yep, I know what you're thinking, there's about 1 million of those already on the Switch, but this one uses gameplay mechanics from something like Smash TV. It also includes up to 4-player local multiplayer and has a pretty decent price point too. I think I'll be picking this one up actually. The next one is called Tokyo School Life. Now, according to the blurb, this is, and I quote, a charming visual novel which tells a summer love story. It follows the adventures of an exchange student and the 3 girls that you'll become acquainted with. So it's basically Greece, but set in Tokyo. I think I'll just watch Greece again if it's all the same to you. Nekopara Volume 2 joins Nekopara Volume 1, already on the Switch, and is a visual novel set in a world where humans live alongside cat people known as Nekos. As difficult as it may be for you to believe, I know absolutely nothing about this series, and I do apologise for any mispronunciations or misconceptions in what I've just said, of which there were probably loads. So that's the second visual novel this week, and if you are into such things, well this one has the added bonus of cat people, so win. Okay, next game we have Astrology and Horoscopes Premium. Again, the blurb states that this is the most luxury astrology, horoscope and numerology application. The most luxury? That doesn't make sense. Okay, it continues then that you can get detailed predictions of tomorrow based on biorhythms and answer any questions such as what is my future and what about my boyfriend? Well, that's quite a presumption straight away, isn't it? I don't even have a... Shall we move on? Modern Combat Blackout is a first-person shooter originally released on iOS and Android as Modern Combat 5 Blackout back in 2014. With a solo campaign that takes you from Tokyo to Venice, up to 12-player team and free-for-all online battles, and 8-player local multiplayer, this may be a game that will pique a few people's interests. The iOS version has a Metacritic score of 79, and the first-person shooter genre is certainly one that is a bit sparse at the minute on the Switch. Ollie Switch Stance brings highly rated skateboard games Ollie and Ollie 2 to the Switch in one package, featuring one life gameplay and a host of stunts and tricks to try, as well as numerous challenges to attempt, and based on its reception elsewhere, this could well be a game that fits quite nicely into the Switch library. Ghoulboy is the next one up, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed time for the retro-inspired 2D action platformer to make an appearance on this week's list. I am being a little bit facetious there, and I may be doing the game a disservice. I know nothing about it really, other than the visual style. I would assume it's going for a bit of a Ghouls and Ghosts vibe, and the main character looks a little bit like Bam Bam out of the Flintstones. Hexer Maze is a puzzle game in which you have to fit a number of hexagonal blocks into a template across 4 difficulty levels. I must say I do quite like a cheap and cheerful puzzle game like this, so I might... It costs £17.99. That's a lot, innit? It does have 240 levels, I suppose. I'm going to let Mark do this video next week, I think. Okay, next we have Cinders. Now this is a new take on the classic fairy tale story of Cinderella, in which you choose your own path throughout the story, and you can, I'm led to believe, end up with a version of this particular fairy tale that's quite a lot darker than the original that we all know. The game promises multiple endings, with 120 decision points and over 300 choices. Again, this one does seem quite pricey, but it is quite an interesting concept, and I'd be quite intrigued to see how it's turned out. The final game then I'm going to highlight for this week is a game called Strikey Sisters. Now this looks to be a Breakout or Arkanoid type game in which you need to break a certain amount of bricks in order to clear a level, with the hook being that this has a fantasy theme, boss battles and a local 2-player co-op mode.
Magic ball.
So there you have it then, those are our picks for this week. I hope you enjoyed this slightly lighter hearted version of this particular series. It's nice to have a little bit of fun with you lot sometimes. In all seriousness though, please do let us know if you are picking up any of these games in the comment section below, or what you think of the ones you've just seen, or are there any others that I didn't mention that have caught your attention. Thank you everybody as always for watching. As usual, a special thanks to our Patreons for supporting the channel, and a thanks to all of you for watching. Your views really do mean a lot to us. Take it easy everyone, and as always, happy gaming.